Just 40? Okay.
Yeah,
So,
but more are coming. I'll continue to admit them, but whenever you want to get started.
okay, I'll just start. Thank you everybody for coming. Hold on, I'm gonna move. I'm sorry. Thank you everybody for coming. I just wanted to point out on the agenda is the minutes. They're not actually minutes because it is a video of last month's recording. So if anybody wants to get a look at those, please do so. I also just wanted to give everybody an update on Memorial Day. The town did, or the community did a phenomenal job, and we really, really appreciate it. I've lost my notes, I'm so sorry. We raised $10,000 through the use of the bags for Memorial Day. So and through the Village Council. So that's a wonderful amount of money to raise so quickly through those gift bags. I also wanted to thank the village very much for allowing the lawn signs on the library lawn to celebrate the seniors. I think the reaction I received was that the village really appreciated the juxtaposition of the Memorial Day on the village lawn, and then the library signs with the youth of today for class of 2020. So a couple moms in the senior class organized that and put that together on their own initiative, and I think it was a great hit. So I hope you all enjoyed that. The DPW and the library, as well as the village, were great in allowing us to do that. I also wanted to thank the school very much for having the car parade for the seniors. A lot of kids and faculty came out to cheer them on as they drove through. And again, with this year being so different than normal, the senior class, I think, really enjoyed the event, even though they had to be driven by their parents, which I think caused some consternation. But at the end of the day, they all had a lot of fun. The other thing I just wanted to ask, I recently sent out an email asking people to adopt a senior. In the same time, when you adopt a senior, you would support something in the community. So there are a few spots left on that. I think we have 133 seniors, and 102 spots have been taken. So if anybody else wants to just, adopt one of the last 31 seniors left to go, that would be wonderful. And then my only other thing is I just wanted to welcome Margaret. Margaret, are you here? Well, Margaret Wang is going to be the chair of next year. This is my last meeting, and she has a current junior and a current 8th grader. So welcome to Margaret at the concluded of this meeting, and it's all Margaret. Anyway, that's what I have for right now. So if Dr. Montesano's on.
Hi, I am on. So thank you. And Darcy, thank you for your leadership throughout the year as the chair of the high school council. We appreciated your efforts very much. And we know it's not easy all the time to organize things and be part of this, and it takes a lot of your own time. And we very much appreciate your leadership and your efforts and your support throughout the year. So thank you for that. I just have a few brief comments tonight. As you know, it's been a difficult week around our country with everything going on. And just when we thought the pandemic was bad enough, we run into the events with the killing of a Black man that has set off protests and a firestorm all over the country, and something that we need to be part of, and we need to have a conversation about, and we need to engage with our students and our community about, and it'll be more moving forward. I just hope and pray that there's no more destruction and death and all of that surrounding these events. And I also hope that the protests that are going on, legitimate protests, and the outrage that's going on is peaceful, because that is the right of people to do, and it should be kept. But the violence and the looting should not be accepted. So we're all hurting from that, I know, and I'm sure the students have a lot of questions about what's going on, and we need to have further conversation about that as a school and as a community. I did reach out to the superintendent of Mount Vernon, and I'm hoping that in the future we have the opportunity to engage in conversation with not only the staff in Mount Vernon, but also with our students to try to further the conversation. And he's willing to do that and anxious and excited to do that as well. So hopefully some good will come out of all this, because that's really what it's about, you know, the ability to learn from things and ability to make improvements as we move forward. You know, as you know, the Bronxville Promise is all about engaging the world and becoming an active citizen, and to see beyond yourself and to make things better for others and the next generation. I think we all have an obligation to do that. So I'll get off my soapbox about that, but I think it's warranted tonight to at least acknowledge that, and to let everyone know that we want to be part of that conversation moving forward. So at this point, as a district, on another topic, we are starting to focus on our end of the year activities, trying to make whatever events that we have left positive ones for our students. I know the elementary school and the middle school have an end of the year events planned. I know Ann will be talking further about potential graduation plans later on, so I'm not going to say anything about that at this point. We're also beginning to closely examine what we may have to do for a reopening in September. We have a task force in place. We have another meeting tomorrow where we're looking at various scenarios and what we need to be doing as a district to prepare for whatever the opening in September might look like. We're all hoping that it's all in person and things go back to some kind of normalcy for us all. But in the event that we still have social distancing guidelines or whatever have you, we want to be as prepared as possible. So we have a large group actually looking at that and beginning to look at all the things that we need to consider if we're able to open, hopefully we'll be in September, and how we protect our students and our staff. Again, the silver lining for us is still the construction that's moving forward. I don't know if you've been around the school at all or not, but today I shared some live photos with the administrative group of the new counseling center that you can see from the outside on Meadow Ave. The cement block walls are going up. The curtain wall situation on the elementary side will begin shortly with taking down the old wall and putting the new one up. The learning commons on the third floor it looks magnificent. And I think the highlight so far is the cafeteria expansion, because that's just terrific. There's a huge skylight, 32 feet or so, and it really changes the whole look of the cafeteria. And I think everybody will be really, really impressed and pleased once we open schools up and take tours through our building. So that's going on, and we're pleased about that. And the last thing I want to just mention is that, as you know, we have our budget vote and board elections scheduled for Tuesday. Hopefully you've all received the absentee ballots in the mail. And I really strongly encourage you to support us by voting with absentee ballots. I know many communities are very concerned because you'll have a lot of people emailing ballots back that perhaps would not necessarily take the time to vote. So we could use whatever support the PTA and the parent groups would like to offer for that. But please remember to either send back your absentee ballots, or you can also drop them off at the school as well. We have boxes available for that. And that's about it. So Darcy, that's what I have for tonight.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm actually glad to hear that you are going to meet with Mount Vernon. Karen was Ms. Peterson was very instrumental in helping start a volleyball team with Mount Vernon and Bronxville, and the merger's been very pleasant, with lots of camaraderie and very nice students. And I think a dialogue between them and us probably a very positive move. Anyway, so Ms. Meyer, you have an update for us?
Sure. I just want to reiterate a number of comments that Roy shared in terms of the challenges of the last few weeks, and we're moving into the end of the school year. So I think in normal circumstances, we would react in a different way than we're going to be capable of doing at this point, when some of our classes have one 30-minute class left and some have two. And I know there's some end of the year things that need to be taken care of. But as Dr. Montesano said, this is at the front of our mind, how to move this conversation forward. And we'll be speaking with faculty as well in terms of how we can follow up and look forward to a ongoing conversation potentially with Mount Vernon and other communities nearby. So I also want to thank Darcy. I want to thank you for your leadership this year. This has not been a typical year and has brought forth some challenges we haven't faced in the past, but I appreciate all of your help in navigating that, and all of the parents who have volunteered so many hours to help us make the year a memorable one. And again, in particular, these last couple of months, just everyone has really stepped up. And I know the senior parents have really, opened up the possibility of just volunteering in any way possible to make graduation and all of these end of the year events happen. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of those. I kind of want to go in chronological order. As Darcy said, we had a great car parade last week. It was wonderful to see all of the seniors. It was wonderful to see the faculty. It was just a really nice community event. And I'm so grateful to the police and the town for supporting that, and to the police for escorting the parade. We really appreciate it. And I think, we'll see if it becomes a tradition. I'm not guaranteeing that at this point, but people are pushing for it already. So thank you to everyone who made that possible. And it was safe and fun and a celebration. I also want to acknowledge that the last week and a half, we've had senior week events and senior shadowing, not the events we would have planned were we in person, but really have been fantastic opportunities for our seniors to think about college and beyond. And I just cannot express my gratitude enough to all the parents who have taken time out of their schedule to host just absolutely phenomenal events. I hope our seniors appreciate the people they're hearing from, which are just outstanding. The faculty have been commenting on the individuals that have hosted and the information they've shared, which has been really relevant and important. And then the senior week events have been great as well. So those will continue this week and conclude on Friday. We really have an unbelievable opportunity to hear from Scott Kelly, the former astronaut. I mean, honestly, the same week that we launch a rocket for the first time in 9 years from US soil, to be able to have a retired astronaut who spent more time in space than any other American astronaut. He's been on the space station multiple times. I mean, it's just unreal. It's like a commencement speaker for a college. So again, very grateful to have all of these things happening for our seniors, and continuing to try to do our best to make it a wonderful end of their year and their experience at the Bronxville School. On Monday, we do have award ceremonies as we would normally have them, although in terms of the date, although they will be happening virtually. So I will send out the YouTube link. It's just a link to our Bronxville School YouTube channel. Many faculty will be involved in presenting these awards to really recognize our students for their outstanding academic, athletic, community service, just service really to the school and to our greater community. So anyone is invited to attend that. I have emailed parents. I have a few more to email of students who are receiving awards, just to make sure that those students and parents do view the ceremony. Following that, those 2 weeks, the week of June 8th and June 15th, we have final assessments, not final exams, but final assessments scheduled throughout those 2 weeks. So I continue to send out a link to the document that summarizes the due dates. Please make sure you familiarize yourself with that. I hate to say this, but we do have a long list of students who have the potential of failing this quarter. We have reached out and reached out and reached out, and we will continue to do so, but students need to complete their work and maintain a 70 or above average in a course to pass for the fourth quarter. Final assessments are a separate part of the grade. Final assessments are 10% of the overall course grade for a year-long course, 10% also for a semester course, and those will be an actual grade. Those are not pass-fail. So just want to clarify that. Baccalaureate, we are doing baccalaureate. We are doing it in we will live stream it onto YouTube. Everyone's going to be invited. We're going to share this with the entire community. Baccalaureate is a beautiful ceremony that celebrates our fine and performing arts seniors. This year, we will have a variety of pre-recorded and live performances that will come together to form this tremendous event. And we don't always have the capacity to invite anyone to view it because we have limited capacity in the auditorium. So again, here's an opportunity, sort of like Senior Week and Senior Shadowing, where we can share this with everyone. So I just please encourage you, and more information will be coming out to watch that. It's Friday, June 19th at 5 p.m. And then graduation is scheduled for June 20th. June 20th is 2 weeks from Saturday, so that's coming up quickly. I mean, if we were to have to decide today, based on what we know, we are not confident that June 20th we will be able to host the in-person socially distanced graduation. So we are likely in the next few days to send out a survey about choosing an alternate date in case the 20th cannot happen. That alternate date, again, would be for an in-person socially distanced ceremony. I will be reaching out with Angela Seminara, who's chairing the graduation committee, to a number of the individuals helping with that, because we really want to begin to think through the logistics of this socially distanced ceremony that we're going to have for graduation. There's quite a few things we're going to need to adjust from our normal graduation ceremony. We're going to get that ball rolling because no matter when we have it, we're going to need those pieces in place. So the next step for us is to really work on the logistics. I'm going to ask Dr. Montesano. He had some updates today, I believe, speaking to some local officials.
Yeah, thanks, Ann. So I was actually on the phone with Senator Mayer today to talk. I had sent her our plan, our socially distanced graduation plan on the athletic field, to try to get the legislative support on allowing us to do so. So Amy Paulin and Senator Mayer, they both are very supportive, and Senator Mayer has actually helped author a letter to the governor's office encouraging the approval of schools to have in-person graduations. On the phone today, she reiterated the fact that she is fully supportive. She has brought our plan up to the governor's staff to see if that they will approve it somehow. She was not hopeful that June was realistic at this point in time. However, but she was hopeful that in July we could do so. And then if you follow the data and the news reports, it would, mid-July is really when phase 4 of the governor's phase-in plans does happen, and schools are included in that. But one of the things that Senator Mayer said is that please have your parents reach out to the governor's office, write the governor's office, call the governor's office, and say that the community of Bronxville is very interested in holding an in-person graduation. We have an appropriate plan, a responsible plan that protects everyone, that people that follow the social distance guidelines. and that we feel we should be allowed to move forward on that. She thinks that that would help tremendously and would certainly help her cause in supporting all of us and trying to get that accomplished. So now that you have a lot of free time in your hands in your home, we'd love for you to pen a letter or an email or something up to the governor's office on behalf of all of us in Bronxville, encouraging the governor to approve in-person graduation for high schools, even if it is July. I think that's still acceptable in our view. So whatever support you can do on that end, that would be terrific, because we do have people who are supporting us and agreeing with us. We just have to get other people to agree with that as well. So quick update.
Thanks, Roy. So again, we are working on that. I mean, I can give you a brief overview, and we will certainly have updates once we get more specifics about the in-person graduation, but I do see some questions in the chat. We have measured the bleachers at Chambers Field, which is the place that will have the most capacity to host our graduates and an audience. We have the capacity across all 3 sets of bleachers to seat, we believe, 93 graduates, and then we feel the remainder could sit in a row on the track near the bleachers, or potentially 2 rows. We do have to measure that out. And then if you imagine the seating spread across the field, we believe there's the capacity to have at least 150 separated small groups of people. We have to determine how many guests. But so that is sort of the plan we're going with as far as accommodating the seniors and an audience on Chambers Field. Of course, there are a lot of logistics related to arrival, seating people in a socially distanced, appropriate manner, having the graduates process in. We don't expect that we would necessarily be handing out diplomas, but that they might be at the seats. So these are the things we're thinking through, and then how dismissal would take place, again, respecting social distancing guidelines. So as we draft a more specific plan, we will certainly share that with senior families. And as Dr. Montesano mentioned, if June 20th is looking less likely, we are going to push into July. We will send out a survey to senior families so that we can determine a date that that works best for as many people as possible, that we feel is likely to take place based on what we know at this point. So any support you can give us in writing officials, as Dr. Montesano mentioned, we would appreciate. I'm going to move on. I did want to mention, I think it's of interest, Dr. Montesano indicated we do have some committees working on reopening plans. As we think about the schedule for the high school next year, at this point, we do not think that reopening would impact what courses we offer or sort of conflicts that might arise. So what's going to happen is what normally happens at this time of year. We draft a master schedule. We determine what conflicts might exist, and before the end of school, the guidance counselors will reach out if there is a conflict in your child's schedule, so that students know ahead of time what courses they are likely to be enrolled in the fall. In particular, we want to make sure students leave school knowing what summer assignments they need to complete. We only have summer assignments for AP courses and also for English, but we want to make sure that someone doesn't leave completing the AP Chem summer assignment and then come back and find out they're not in AP Chem. So we're going to do our best to get that done. But we do not expect that the plans we put in place will impact we do not expect what courses students are able to take. We're looking at a variety of scenarios in the high school as far as reopening might happen, one being just a regular reopening. That's one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is full distance learning like we have now. In the middle might be socially distanced students in the classroom, which might cause us to have like half the class in a classroom at a time. And those are things we're going to try to work through. And again, we'll communicate to parents and students as we have some idea about that. We do plan before the end of the year to send out a survey to parents, also to the high school students about their experience in distance learning, so we can learn from what has taken place the last few months, so that whatever we implement, should we need to, is informed by our past experience and employs what we've found to be most effective and mitigates what we might find was not particularly effective. So that is my update. Darcy, I'm gonna hand it back over to you or whoever is next.
Yep, that's me. Thank you so much. I wanted to welcome, and if you can, I don't know, can they unmute themselves or do you need to unmute them for me? I need the Hannah Bishop, Tin Murray, and Grace McSherry are going to join us they are our athletic committee representatives. As many people might know, our athletic director of many, many years is retiring this year. So welcome, guys. And I can't see them. Are they up?
I will try to. I'm
I
gonna
see
have
Grace
Hannah.
and Hannah.
I think we can,
There you are, Hannah.
Oh, hi guys. I'm actually not speaking first. So
Oh, okay, who
Grace.
is?
Grace is speaking
Sorry.
first.
Okay.
And Anthony, I can't pronounce your last name. I'm sorry, but he's joining us too.
That's okay. It's
Baglica.
Baglica.
Okay, and here we go, Grace McSherry, who is the class of 2020. Thank you, Grace.
Oh, thank you. Hi, everyone. Good evening. It's an honor to join this meeting tonight and have the honor of speaking before you. I'm Grace McSherry, and I'm joined by Athletic Council co-presidents Hannah Bishop and Tim Murray. And we're very proud to speak on behalf of our athletic director, Ms. Karen Peterson. After 22 years, Ms. Peterson has decided to retire at the end of the school year, and we wanted to take some time tonight to thank her for all that she's done for all of the student athletes, coaches, the school, and the community.
For those of you who are not aware, Ms. Peterson oversees 7 varsity and 7 JV fall sports, 6 varsity and 6 JV winter sports, 8 varsity and 8 JV spring sports, Special Olympics, Emerge varsity softball team and ice hockey teams, fall, winter, and spring modified sports, and she always has a smile on her face while looking to do whatever she can to provide the best experience for all student athletes. Ms. Peterson does all the athletic schedules, hiring of coaches, mentoring of coaches, juggling of practice time, field space, moving games due to inclement weather, parent involvement, and of course, her favorite, flood mitigation.
In addition to all of this, Ms. Peterson is the administrator who oversees the athletic council, run by faculty liaison, Mr. Anthony Baglica. The Student Athletic Council is an unofficial varsity team run by an elected executive committee to go along with a group of parent volunteers supporting the student-run high school athletic council and the athletic department. Both of these in an effort to promote school spirit, support athletics, develop leadership skills in student athletes, and to cultivate and provide opportunities for community service at school and in the community at large. A well-rounded group consisting of hardworking students, devoted parents, a beloved secretary, Ms. Dawn Hartson, and our award-winning athletic director, Ms. Karen Peterson.
We're so fortunate to be the athletic council presidents and student athletes working so closely with Mrs. Peterson. What we admire most about Mrs. P is her dedication to the school, athletics, and the student athletes. On a daily basis, Ms. Peterson is running early morning athletic council meetings before school, and she's the last person to leave in the evening after all of the athletic events are completed.
We want her to know that her commitment does not go unnoticed. As we graduate, we want you to know how fortunate we have been to have had the opportunity to work alongside you and to have called you our friend, mentor, and athletic director.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson, for all of your efforts. And on behalf of Grace, Hannah, and I, we wish you we wish you well as you embark on the next chapter of your life. Once a Bronco, always a Bronco. We love Ms. Peterson, and thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that. And Karen, you are up.
Well, thank you for that. And once again, you guys surprise me. I never know when you're going to show up. But you can see why I've enjoyed my time at Bronxville. Working with the student athletes, it's a real honor. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. What got me up in the morning every day and put me to bed at night and kept me up in the middle of the night. So it's been a great opportunity to be a Bronco. I'm looking forward to some new opportunities, but I will miss all of you as well. The Athletic Council has had a busy spring, despite the fact that we didn't have a season. So we were able to take our senior photos with parents on the field last week. We have a couple athletes that we need to do some makeup dates because they weren't available. So we'll be working on that. And I just want to thank our Athletic Council leadership, Trish Riley and Cindy Randall, co-presidents, and our executive board for helping put that together. It was great to be back out on the field and to see everybody again. So those were a couple special days for us. This Thursday at 7 o'clock will be our senior tribute to spring sports. So that will be available on the YouTube channel, and that link has gone out, but just make sure you register for the Bronxville School YouTube channel and you'll get a reminder. Join us at 7 o'clock. It'll be a little different than our typical award ceremony, but it does give us a chance to honor and highlight our senior athletes in a tribute. So we're anxious for you to all join us on Thursday at 7 o'clock. Did want to thank everybody for supporting the Bronxville Strong effort. The orders are in. You should be getting your Bronxville Strong gear within the next couple weeks. And due to the community support of the school and the Bronxville community as a whole, we raised $2,000 for charity, a $1,000 donation to Destination College, and $1,000 to Feeding Westchester Food Bank, which is so important at this time. So we wanted to thank everybody for that. And just a quick reminder, a link went out for a Family ID registration for fall sports. So we are pushing ahead, and we don't know what fall is going to look like for us, but we need to plan, and we may have to make some adjustments, but right now we want to get our staffing in place. So if you haven't registered and you have a fall athlete, please get on and register. The link is open right now. It'll be open till the end of June. This is simply a registration program because we're not able to hold interest meetings. So the actual health clearance registration is available 30 days prior to the start of the season. So you'll be getting additional emails out about that. But check out the Family ID site, and it's just a very simple form to register so that we can send you direct contact from coaches as our planning continues for the fall. And we have our fingers crossed about that. So that's it from the athletic end. And thank you again, Hannah, Grace, and Tim, and Mr. Vaglica, who's done yeoman's work this spring to keep us all together and active, and really appreciate everyone's help. Thanks.
Thank you, Karen, very much. Ms. Abaticola, any updates? Ms. Abaticola, you're muted. There we go.
Thank you. Good evening. As you know, Friday is the last day of class for everyone, and then we begin the assessment period for the remaining 2 weeks. As Ann Meyer already mentioned, the counselors have been very busy the last week or so, contacting students who are still in need of turning in some missed assignments, and we really want everyone to finish strong. So hopefully those assignments are coming in to the teachers. We also are taking a look at a draft of the master schedule for next year in an attempt to contact any student who will need to make a choice between one course or another, so that, as Anne has said as well, the summer assignments are not completed in vain, and students will have a good knowledge of the courses that they will be taking in September. We're just planning our last workshop, and that's with the 10th graders. So next Thursday at 11 o'clock, each of the counselors will be hosting a Zoom meeting with our 10th graders to introduce them to Naviance, the software that we use for post-high school planning. And the first phase of that it contains an interest inventory and a look at some careers in the future. We want our students to start thinking about what they like to do, what their positive qualities are, and how that might translate to post-high school education and also to their future career. So we'll be sending out Zoom invites to the 10th grade students, and we've asked the English teachers to announce that to our 10th graders. And I would ask anyone who has a 10th grader to please ask your student to check email for the Zoom invitation so that we can have this meeting and describe the activity to the students so that they will have a head start on this very important aspect of post-high school planning. We have one final letter going out to our juniors for activities that they'll be working on this summer completing. And at this time, we've been meeting with our juniors individually to plan out the remainder of this year and the summer in terms of getting them all ready to complete their common application, college applications. With our junior workshops this semester, we've introduced them to each of the topics that are contained in the common application, and the juniors are currently working with their English teachers to come up with some drafts of that personal statement essay. And also we understand that there will be an optional short essay on the Common App regarding students' take on the pandemic, how they've reacted, what they have done. And this short statement is something that students can begin thinking about as well. So we certainly are so happy for our seniors. As Ann also reiterated, the parade was really a wonderful event, and we're looking forward to the remainder of senior week. The workshops, I know I attended several of the workshops, they were absolutely amazing. We had a wonderful alumni panel for our seniors, so it's really been a great opportunity for seniors to complete the year in a very positive way. I would ask, however, the seniors who have not completed that senior survey to please do so over the next week or two. I think we're up to about 75 or 80 seniors having completed it. And we do still have a few seniors who haven't updated their Naviance accounts with their college selection. And we do need that to know which school we should send their final transcripts. So that's about all the information that I have, and I just want to thank you, Darcy, and the members of the High School Council for all you've done for us this past year, and in particular this spring. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Baticola. Okay, Ms. Meyer, I guess if any questions for anybody? I'm not sure what's going on in the chat, if you have anything.
I've been watching the chat, and I think we've addressed the questions that have arisen. If anyone else wants to raise their hand or add a chat question, that's it.
Okay, so look out for any, will the track be open this summer? Someone just asked.
You know, we're going to follow the guidelines. You know, it's something that we're looking at right now. It's something that we want to get the cooperation of our local PD with as well, because it's not just the track. Although I know people are anxious, and the governor has talked about individual activities such as running on the track and things like that as being appropriate. We agree. The issue that we have here is that once you let a few people on the track, we don't want it. Right now we can't allow large crowds to accumulate, which makes it very tough for our people to monitor. So as soon as we get the go ahead that it's okay, we will open it up. So I'm not sure which phase that comes in, but I'm sure it's listed in one of them. And as soon as we get it, we'll certainly open it up.
Okay. Great. So all other memos will come directly from the school until next year, when Margaret will be your host. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a great end to 2020. Bye.
Thanks, Darcy.
Thank you, Darcy. Nice.